Hey guys, I'm back again for my Extreme Rules thoughts video, my reaction video, my review video, whatever you want to call it. This is my third time trying to do this video here. I'm really trying to keep it short here, but every time I try to do it, it ends up in the 30-minute area here. I'm really getting tired of trying to do it. So I'm going to try to get through these really quick. If I miss anything, I'm sorry, but I'm sure you can watch it on another review channel if you haven't seen it already, which I'm probably pretty sure that you've already seen it. And I just want to get through these real quick. The first thing of notice here is Daniel Bryan did not compete. He was not medically cleared to compete. I hope it wasn't anything serious. I'm really hoping it's just some little nagging minor things that are keeping him out of the ring. Hopefully we see him at Payback or before. I'm hoping everything's okay with you, Brian. Hope it's not too serious. Hope to see you in the ring soon here. The next was a decent video package between Rollins and Randy Orton. I like the little music they added into where they were showing Orton's from last week RKOing everybody. It reminded me of the Stone Cold Steve Austin era, which Randy Orton has been reminding me of Steve Austin for the past few weeks here with his, anti-authority attitude here. I'm really liking that. The next was a decent Bray Wyatt promo. He was saying that gods can't walk among men, but men can be a god, or something like that. And I had to note that it sounded like something out of the Batman vs. Superman trailer. Excuse me, I don't know if that was a purposeful thing here or not, but it seemed to have fit if it was, because of his next thing where it's rumored that he's going to be up against Ryback, so maybe they're playing a whole Batman versus Superman thing there. A nod to that movie coming out here, but I don't know. Something I had here was commercials mid-match. My friend Jason Callan on Facebook and YouTube also put that in his video, which I thought that was pretty cool because I had written that down earlier too, which was them interrupting the matches, cutting into the matches to show commercials for Tough Enough and the new network exclusives they have coming out. I kind of wish they would have kept that to the kickoff show and just put the matches on the main thing and left the kickoff show to advertise Tough Enough, the new network exclusives, and preview the matches for Extreme Rules here. But who am I to say anything? I'm sure I'm nobody. I'm just putting my little 2 cents in there that they should have used the kickoff show to do some advertising if that's what they were going to do on this free month here, and left the matches for the whole pay-per-view instead of interrupting them, because I thought the WWE Network was not supposed to have commercials, but it did. Not too major, but worth complaining about on the internet for. But next up was Neville and Barrett. That was the replacement match for Daniel Bryan, who could not medically compete tonight. My match thing here is I have a few different little bullet points I want to go through, a few little spots I noticed, or a few comments I had. I'm going to tell you who won, and I'm going to tell you if I like the match or not. So here we go. Neville hit Bad News Barrett with a pretty good German suplex bridge pin. I think that's what the move was. If I was wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was a German suplex bridged into a pin. Adrian Neville was doing some pretty cool outside dives. Bad News Barrett hit the Winds of Change. Adrian Neville kicked out of a top rope wasteland that Barrett was trying to do. He also ducked the bullhammer. Adrian Neville was groggy on the top rope. Ducked out of a oncoming bullhammer from him up on top rope there. There's some more back and forth between the two of them, and ultimately Adrian Neville hit a really, really super decent red arrow and won the match. This was one of the better matches of the night. I really like this one. So that was a pretty good match. Next was an interview with Kane from the Social Media Lounge. The first question there was, when does the mask come back? And he snapped back, and he said, "That's not my topics for tonight. That's not why I'm here. I don't want to answer questions like that." And then the next one was a pretty stupid one. It says, "Oh, why are you still relevant?" Or are you still relevant? And poor choice of a question, poor choice of grammar. Are you? I don't know if they chose that one purposely, because they can be kind of out of Kane's character to sit down for an interview anyway. So I don't know if they picked that one story-wise just because it would fit better for him to storm out of the interview and not do an interview. So I'm thinking that was why they chose to do that. But that wraps up the kickoff show. Like I said, I'm trying to keep everything moving at a good clip here. So next up, right into the Extreme Rules match, we got Ambrose versus Rusev Harper in the Chicago Street Fight match. Early on in the match, there were some good little spots with foreign objects. Nothing to write home about. Eventually, Dean Ambrose chases Luke Harper back to the backstage production area. There were some pretty cool little things of back and forth between them then. They were pushing some production carts at each other. Luke Harper jumped into an SUV, and then Ambrose went in after him. Kind of reminded me, but just because in general, Dean Ambrose reminds me of Roddy Piper. It reminded me of, I think it was a WrestleMania between Roddy Piper and Goldust, where they had a street fight match, and Goldust actually ended up running his car into Roddy Piper in that match. Which I bring that up because that was a pretty good match, and it was pretty funny because I thought they were playing off of the whole O.J. Simpson trial, because they showed Goldust's car going through there. And I'm just going to tell you that this match stopped here. They said, Kane and Ambrose are loose on the Chicago streets. They didn't really elaborate anything. They just stopped that match then and there. And they cut to a segment of Triple H backstage talking to Kane. He says, "You need to go get them guys and bring them back here. And you need to get on the same page as Rollins for this match tonight." Like I said, that match stopped. Went on into the Kiss Me Arse match between Ziggler and Sheamus. The notes I have here is that both guys were looking pretty bruised up. I don't know if I missed something pretty early into the match, but Ziggler looked like he was sporting a pretty big bruise on the side of his body here and on his arm. Like I said, he looked pretty bruised up. I don't know if I missed something pretty early in the match there where he got bruised. Pretty similar to the thing of Triple H and Sting at WrestleMania 31, where you looked at Triple H and he had a pretty big bruise on his thigh there, but I didn't really know if I seen him get hurt to where it would have bruised his thigh, but maybe I wasn't paying attention there either. But Sheamus was in pretty much control of the match. Had to note that the commentary was a little dorkier tonight than ever before. Even King's jokes weren't hitting with me personally. Even though usually I like the King's deadpan, silly kind of humor. his jokes like that. I really enjoy him, but even his humor didn't really help. The commentary was kind of grating tonight. There was a back and forth near falls. Sheamus went for a standing brainbuster type of thing. Ziggler rolled him up into a pin and won. Sheamus was supposed to have kissed the arse of Ziggler. Ziggler sitting here hiking his shorts up, saying, "Come on, this is what you asked for. Why aren't you doing this?" And, it was a whole thing. It really seemed like it lasted forever. And then Sheamus hit him with a low blow and a bro kick, and he said, "I'm not kissing nobody's arse. I told you nobody was kissing my arse. I'm not kissing nobody's arse. I told you that, and then you're going to kiss my arse." And he picked up groggy Dolph Ziggler and rubbed his face on his ass there. Looked like he was rubbing his forehead on his butt, so that was kind of weird. Pretty good match altogether, like I said. Next was the tag team champion match. There was some cool back and forth between the two. A good spear from Big E to Tyson Kidd, where he kind of really laid out big Tyson Kidd. It was just a pretty good, solid match. It was pretty fast paced. They hit the brass ring club hit the swing and drop kick. New Day kicked out of that. There was a roll-up pin for the win, and New Day is your new champion. It was a pretty good match, pretty solid. Not too fond of New Day, and I noted here that I'm wondering if the New Day are going to go heel, because they had a pretty good match and they still couldn't get over with the crowd. And I'm wondering if they're going to go on a tangent of, "We're your champs, whether you think we suck or not, so you got to get used to it." Cut to a backstage interview with the New Day, and here in comes Dean Ambrose and Luke Harper steamrolling through them. The match continued. They made it out to the ring. There were some spots with a lot of chairs. Ambrose was covered, but covered with chairs, and Dean Ambrose hit the Dirty Deeds and won the match. Which, like I said, I wish it was a pretty good match, like I said, and but I wish it would have went a little bit longer. I wish it would have went through even a couple different more matches and then ended, maybe in the middle of the match. Trying to keep this quick, so excuse me if I miss anything or I'm going a little bit too fast for you. Pretty good match between Dean Ambrose and Luke Harper. The next one was Rusev and Cena, which I had to note that the team looked kind of fake. Looked really plasticky, shiny. I know there were some cool spots between the two. Lots of strength showed between the two. There's a spot where John Cena pulled the chain and knocked Rusev into the turnbuckles a couple different times. There was a spot where Rusev strung Cena up to the top rope from the outside and gave him some pretty hard-looking kicks. Lana distracted Rusev by giving into the fans and giving into the cheers and whatnot, and Rusev sent her back. Rusev got Cena in the accolade. Cena broke out of that, and Rusev was walking around the ring with John Cena on his back, inadvertently going after the going turnbuckle to turnbuckle, which he didn't realize until he got 3 of them. And John Cena broke that up, and he ended up with only getting 3 of them. There's some more back and forth. Both guys had 3 turnbuckles apiece, and John Cena pulled the chain, hit him with the attitude adjustment in the middle of the ring, knocked him out, and hit his turnbuckle, 4 of 4 turnbuckles, and he won the match and retained the championship there. And it was a pretty good match, pretty good for a Cena match. I really don't think it was as good as the Open Challenges matches he's been doing in the past couple weeks here, but it was a pretty good match. On to the Divas match, which I had to note that it was a pretty weird build-up. You didn't know who was heel. You didn't know if Naomi was meant to be the heel in that match, or was it Nikki. Naomi came out to some new ring gear. She had right-up shoes, which were pretty neat. Brie Bella had on a red and black lumberjack with the skirt to match. She was looking pretty hipster out there. I don't know what she was thinking with that little get up there. Even the commentary team said something about her looking like a lumberjack. Naomi was aggressive most of the match. Both ladies were taking some pretty hard bumps. It was a pretty good match. Naomi hit her Nikki with a moonsault, and then with a weird ending, Brie Bella kicked Naomi off the distraction. Brie Bella won, which I had to note was a pretty weird ending because you built up Naomi as the heel, and she lost via dirty heel tactics, which was weird to me because I really don't think they I don't think they knew who was going to be the heel in that match. They couldn't figure it out, so it was just another match. Goes back there, and Rusev is berating Lana. He sends her to the Authority, which later in the pay-per-view you come to see that she had made the last of the 3 matches between Rusev and Cena, and it's going to be an I Quit match. We're going into the Roman Reigns last man standing match with the Big Show here, and I had to note that they're still showing stuff from WrestleMania, which is pretty weird because I don't understand what Big Show has to do with him in WrestleMania. Big Show didn't cause Roman Reigns to lose at WrestleMania. It was a cash-in from Seth Rollins, and it seemed like they were just interjecting a feud with Big Show between Roman Reigns here because they didn't have anything for Roman to do at the time. But I thought that was a pretty weird build-up between the two of them. Early in the match, Big Show set up a table and busted it with his hands. I really don't know what that was supposed to show off. I thought it was pretty weird. I don't know why he sat there and busted the table with his hands. Reigns was down for an 8 count. Later in the match, Reigns hit him with a Samoan drop through the table. Big Show was taking some pretty decent bumps. He was taking most of the bumps. He took a top rope bump, which was pretty cool. Roman Reigns had gave him 2 Superman punches in a row, and then didn't really faze the Big Show, who picked Roman up with a chokeslam and chokeslammed him through a table. He got up after that, though, but the match was pretty double count heavy between the two of them. Double count out, like you know what that is. But it was pretty heavy on them spots. Big Show was out there putting setting up the announce tables with some steel chairs and stuff. He had the steel chairs on the outside of the announcement table there, and split set up to a decent spot. Best spot of the night in my opinion. Big Show was standing over there on the Spanish announce table. Roman Reigns ran up onto the table and speared speared Big Show through the announce table, and picked up the American announce table, JBL and Cole and Lawler's announce table. Picked that up, put it on the Big Show for the victory there. And that was the pretty good match. In my opinion, was the best one. I've had noticed that I seen that spot before. I think it was a John Cena Rusev match, John Cena and Ryback match, if I'm not mistaken. But I had to note that I thought I did see that spot somewhere where it was a last man standing match, and they used the table to stop the other guy from getting back to his feet. Next one was Bo Dallas came out and was berating the Chicago crowd. Ryback came out smashed him. He got fed him more, and that was the end of that little segment. But I thought Bray Wyatt was going to come out of there and do a little segment with his brother and announce that Ryback is the guy he was been talking about in his preview and in his promos, but unfortunately that didn't happen. Let's get on to the main event, which was Orton versus Reigns. There's some pretty cool stuff between the two of them. There's a cool top rope power slam from Orton, which Orton seemed to have been doing power slams instead of the RKO. He was doing seemed to do a lot of power slams. There's a top cage suplex from Orton. You know, Kane got J&J Security interfered in the match. Seth Rollins went for a drop kick on Randy Orton, which ended up hitting Kane. Kane went in there to deal with that. J&J Security got in there. He double choke slammed them. He choke slammed Seth Rollins. He choke slammed Orton and then put Seth Rollins over on top of Randy Orton to get the pin. He got a 2 count and kicked out, and Kane went over to Randy Orton and chokeslammed him again. Randy Orton got up and gave him an RKO, which in turn turned around Seth Rollins, gave Randy Orton an RKO, and crawled out for the win. It wasn't too big of a surprise to me that Randy Orton did the RKO because he's been doing it at house shows and whatnot. So it wasn't too big a surprise for me, but it was pretty cool to see nonetheless. All in all, it was a pretty mediocre pay-per-view. I don't know if it was because it was a free one. They didn't really try too much, but it was pretty mediocre. I'd have to give it a 6, a real light 6. It was pretty good. So here comes the question: how'd you like it? Was it worth your $9.99? What was your favorite match? Was it worth your time? Did you even watch it? And I'm gonna see you guys next time. I might review Raw tomorrow, and I'll speak with you in my next video.